I'm back home because people like to move things, talking about, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, whatever. I'd rather stay in my house anyway. Um, so apparently there was a teenager that was, and I'm gonna speak about this again because I don't think parents truly understand. And it's funny because when the internet first came out, where it started getting like real traction was when I went to high school. And I remember my mother putting like safety locks on AOL. So to the point of the locks were so strong on AOL when I started learning about slavery in school and I had to like research all this information on the internet for my homework, I would have to go into her account. That's how strong the child locks were. And I feel like that needs to come back. And I'm not sure because I don't have kids, if whether that is on phones and internet and all the rest of this stuff, and whether people are truly understanding how and who is communicating with your children. The reason why I talk about this is because I just saw a news report. Apparently there was a missing boy, and they're saying, and his parents are still hoping, that he was pinned on the Manhattan Bridge. I guess they tracked his phone, and that there was an ominous splash a couple of minutes later after he was pinned. Some people are thinking that he jumped. But the purpose of him missing was to meet someone off of Roblox. If I hear one more terrible fucking thing off of fucking Roblox, I'm going to scream. I understand we need 16 million jobs to fucking live in this economy. I understand it is really hard because you want to give your kids privacy, and this is still a child. 15, 14, 16, 70, you are still a child under the eyes of the law. Your parents are still responsible. So at the end of the day, privacy and all this freedom, and I'm saying this as a Leo, the one who used to Mortal Kombat battle my mother, and it does have something to do with it because we are very hyperly independent people like Leos. And I used to battle my mother tooth and nail about privacy because I grew up in, the rotary phone age. I didn't have a cell phone. I grew up to, if you could pick up the other phone quietly in your house, you can listen to what someone's saying. And my mother did indeed do that shit to me on a consistent fucking basis. Was it annoying? Absolutely. But it was a form of privacy. It was a form of privacy, but I don't think you deserve as a child. Because at the end of the day, look what these dumb fucking kids are fucking doing. You're constantly talking to strangers. That's why Chris Hansen had to come out of fucking retirement to Catch a Predator, because this shit is happening. And I don't know if someone told this boy to possibly do what he did to himself. I don't know if he was just severely depressed, but the internet and these parasocial relationships that people are creating over the internet and it affecting your psyche because you're a lonely teenager, maybe you're getting bullied in school and everything else, it has to start getting looked at. And how loosey-goosey, and like I said before, the amount of screen time you are giving these children is becoming fatal. Now, hopefully he didn't jump. Hopefully he's just lost and wandering the streets or whatever. Maybe he threw his phone in the river because he's smart enough to know that his parents are tracking his location. They have not found the body. Mind you, there's ice in every single river to the point of the ferry can't even run from Staten Island. So hopefully he did not, unalive himself. But irregardless, the fact that the Roblox conversation keeps coming up because I was mentioned in a news report that he was meeting someone off of Roblox. Your teenager should not be meeting anyone off the fucking internet. I don't give a fuck who the person is, how long they've been talking to. No. And it's becoming a real issue, especially with the program Roblox. I have no idea. Even Kim Kardashian had a fucking problem with I think one of the kids and them showing her little happy time thing that made her famous with Ray J. So you don't have to be a parent to understand that this is bad. And that these sites that you think are child-friendly are getting infiltrated by weird adults, other weird children. I mean, look at that whole case that was like several years ago where the girl went to jail for telling the boy who actually unalived himself to unalive himself. So who knows what was said to this child, but he is still a child. And I think the whole privacy conversation when it comes to children needs to be talked about because you're giving them too much of a rope to, themselves. You're giving them too much fucking leeway. And I don't know if it's because of lack of time, bad parenting, or whatever. Because my mother was all up in my shit until I was 18. And even after so, she was still all up in my shit. And I'm grateful because guess what? I'm still here at 41. I never had those thoughts. I never had those issues. And we actually communicated as a family about. So that's all I have to say. I think the internet can be a real dangerous place for both children and adults, but especially children, especially that the internet has made us quote unquote lonelier. And a lot of people are just looking for some sort of stimulus, including children. And this false narrative of thinking a stranger can possibly give you something that is within yourself and that you need to teach your children and yourself that you are your best friend. You are the biggest thing. Sometimes it's okay to be lonely. Sometimes it's okay to be by yourself. It is not a negative thing despite what the world tells you. And it doesn't mean that you have to go off and seek validation from others. And also, you need to monitor what the fuck your child is doing on the fucking internet. That's why computers and all this other shit, I don't feel like we had a family computer when I was younger. I don't understand why kids have private computers now with it's a big much. Like the one computer we had was in the living room. And granted, I was pretty poor growing up, but still, why does everybody have a fucking computer in your household that's not being monitored by you? Why are these devices inside the bedrooms? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know. It's just something that I think about. And I think a lot of stuff can be unavoidable, such as like Chris Hansen coming back on us. We're laughing about it, yeah, because the man, I think he's unknowingly funny, but it is child, taking advantage of children is a very prevalent thing. We see this with the whole, Dumpy trying to act like he's not in the Epstein files and all the rest of this stuff. It is a big thing and it needs to be talked about more, and parents should care more. Like, I am very adamant on this issue because I hate when people don't take care of their kids properly, because I feel like, why would you have them? Now, I'm not blaming the parent in the situation. I'm just saying people need to look at the relationship your children have with the internet. Okay?